My name's Paul Church from Clarity Craft here in the UK. Welcome to another episode of Groovi Tuesday. And today is an extra special Groovi Tuesday because we meet the Calligraphy Girls. So I hope everybody's well. We shall give it a few minutes for people to find the room. I can see lovely Karen is over on our YouTube page. And I can see some eyes coming in. I wonder whether Mo will be the next person in the chat room. So Mo's normally the next one. There we go. Ian beat her just to it. Good morning, Ian. Good morning, Mo. What's the weather like with everybody today? It's quite muggy here in Edenbridge in Kent. That should be my all clear from Sue. Thank you, Sue. Sue said it sound is all good. So if you've got any questions, Sue is there to help you. Here we go. Here comes everybody. We've got Jill. We've got Clive, Sharon. There we go. So everybody's coming in. Pull up a chair. Let's get groovy for the next hour or so. And yeah, as I said at the beginning, today I meet the Calligraphy Girls that many of you drew with Barb in the shack a few weeks ago. And who joined in with the craft along last week with Barb last Thursday, wasn't it? Thursday seems like such a long time ago. Yeah, that was fantastic. The technique with the transfer of the bow papers, the lovely calligraphers that crisp and clean. Let me have a look. This is where we're heading today because we're having. So this morning we're having dessert for breakfast or brunch, depending on how you view the day. Good morning, Ken. I believe it's your birthday today, so many happy returns. I saw somebody at the beginning said it was your birthday, so hope you're having a lovely morning. Who else we've got? We've got Wendy in the room, Julie Campbell. We've got Patricia from France. Bonjour. That's as far as my French goes, Patricia. Lovely Jane's in the room. Yeah, it's lovely to have everybody's company again. So let's have a look at the Groove On. This is a piece of artwork inspired by, well, it's a piece that Carol Pankstello did. And this is where we're going to head during the course of the morning. And I've got a couple of pieces that Barb did in the craft along on Thursday evening. And if you missed that, then you can always go back and watch again over on our YouTube page. Yeah, really lovely pieces of artwork. Let me just bring in these few pieces here. All right, where am I going? There we go. Just grab a few pieces. So we have this one, this was the starters for your main meal. And it's using the lovely companion papers with those beautiful stamps. And then some of the bow papers as well. And I mean, look at those. How quick and easy are they to achieve? A little bit of embedding on there as well. And yeah, you've got really beautiful, stunning artwork. And then for the main course, it went a little bit grungy. And this is where the bow papers became transfers, technique by Sam Crow. And for many of you coming to our open days, you'll see exactly how Sam creates all this. So quite clean for our Sam. So I love the elegance just by changing your companion papers, a little bit of bow in the back, and use your colour to coordinate with your backing paper. Aren't they beautiful? Gorgeous little sort of notelets, but yeah, really stunning. So so that's what did on Thursday evening. So if you want to see how they were created, then you can go back and watch those on our YouTube channel. And today, as I said, we are going to have pudding for breakfast. Nothing wrong with that. It says pudding you can have any time of the day, can't you? Just like chocolate. And yeah, so this is where we're headed during the course this hour. Now, there was a downloadable ingredients list that Barb provided, so you can find that over on our website. So you had the clean and tidy demo, which was your starters. Then you had your grungy demo, which was your main course. And now we're going for the groovy demo, which is dessert. Pudding for brekkie says, yeah, exactly. So what we're going to need for this, if we gather all our bits and pieces together, so we're going to take our inspiration from the piece of artwork from Carol Pankstello. So we need our Groovi Girls Groovi plate. We're going to need our plate mate from the starter kit. Okay, we're going to need our Groovy guard, some Groovy tabs. We're going to make it nice and easy. We're going to stick with the number 1 tool, so the number 1, number 2. Then we need some parchment. So it's entirely up to you whether you want to go for some clear parchment, like so, or what Barb thought was a great idea, we'll go for some of our designer parchment. And so Barb suggested that we have a look at the Toscana on the ingredients list. Those of you that are maybe new to Groovi and parching, we've got a beautiful selection of designer parchment based on our designer papers. And what you get is you get 12 different designs and you get 4 sheets of each. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring them over so we can have a look at this particular color option. Okay, so there is the first one in the collection. Just do this just while people pull up a chair and have a look and see. This is nice as well. I mean, look, instant landscape. You wouldn't want to put your calligraphy girl there though. It looks as if she's walking on water. Oh, she'd look lovely in this one. So this is the next one. This is the third one. So which way do you want to go? She'd look nice under that arch, wouldn't she? Then we'll move on to the next one. See, when you turn it different directions, you get a different sort of outlook on it. So, I mean, now when I turn it that way, I can see a rose. I've never saw that before, but it's like a lovely rose in there. Gorgeous. I think Toscana is one of my favourite ones. And then I love this colourway, the oranges, the rusty colours, the greens. So that's the next one in the collection. Okay, then move that one out of the way. Should have sorted these out beforehand, shouldn't I? But there you go. It's nice to indulge. So can't see a rose in that one. Similar colours to that one where we did see the rose. Now the next one's lovely as well. Look at that. Whoops. Beautiful landscape there. This cloud bursting through the shrubbery. Really lovely. Then we'll move on to the next one. Yeah, 12 different designs. See, this is lovely. It's like a little window. So just turn it around before you sort of start to work and have a look and see what you can see. And we're going to go to the next one. This is a nice colorway. Like that one. It's like a shaft of light coming in from the side. Then, almost there. I think that must be number 10, I think. This is nice. I think this is the one we're going to go for. Because you could have a standing there if you wanted to. So it's all about sort of deciding whether you're going to go for the whole plate, exactly how it comes. But what we're going to do, we're going to create just a spotlight on one of the lovely calligraphy girls. See, this one's nice. Look, you've got the sun coming through. Is it rising? Is it setting? Where is it rising? Where is it setting? Are we in Australia? But then it could be if you cut that down. See, look, you could cut that in half and it could be coming up from that direction. And then we've got one more to share. And there we go. So we've got many different options when it comes to the designer parchment. Different colorways. You've got Northern Lights, Indian Summer, Rainbow River, Shenandoah. I'm going to go for this one. So we're going to use that one. So I'm going to pop these to one side, like so. Pop that back in its folder. Tidy those up. So we've got our parchment, we've got our plate, we've got that. We're going to need some pens or pencils to colour in with. I'm going to go with some pergolina pencils. So I've already chosen my colourways. And what we can do, if we have a look at this, a piece of artwork, we have a look at the piece of artwork that Carol has created. If I bring it in on this one here, created little crosses in those boxes. So you've got options if you want to do this. You can either, let me bring it on the overhead a little bit closer. There we go. So you can either use your 4 needle, bold or fine, or you could use your 1 needle bold with your basic grid as well. And we'll have a look at, see what you find easier. We can have a practice during the course of this hour. So if we want to do some perforating through those little squares, then we're going to need our tools of choice. We will also need some super foam as well. And if you're going to go down the grid option, then we're just going to go for the A5 square basic straight plate. Okay. So what's Mr. Ken saying? Thanks for all the lovely birthday wishes, everyone. I'm watching until the end of Groovi Tuesday, then going out with my lovely wife, as it's her birthday today as well. And your son's. Wow. She's expecting a slap-up lunch. I haven't the heart to tell her that what with all the recent... Right, I'm not going to say that out loud, Ken, just in case Mrs. Kilminster is listening. Let's just say you're going out to lunch with Mrs. Kilminster. That's it. Okay. Are we good to go? Is everybody all right? I didn't see all the weather reports. I was so engrossed in sort of sharing the lovely artwork with you. Right, I think we should get going, don't you? Lots to tell you about. Obviously, we've got our open days coming up on Friday and Saturday. So it's all systems go for that. Demonstrators coming from far and wide. But we'll talk more about that when we get going. Okay. So to start off with, okay, that's how long. I'll zoom in. Ooh, that was high pitched, wasn't it? I will zoom in once we've got our bits and pieces in place. So I'm going to go this way because it's easier on the overhead. And we're going to take our Groovi plate, pop it into our plate mate, and we're going to read the word Groovi in the top right hand corner. Okay. And which calligraphy girl are we going for? Right, I'm going to zoom in now. So just bear with while I bring it in. I'll try not to come in too fast. There we go. Right. So those of you not familiar with our coloured parchment or designer parchment, there is a right side and a wrong side. And I don't know if you can see, this side has got a shine to it. And if I turn it over and do that, it's more of a matte finish. Okay. So in order to get that lovely crisp light white line, what we need to do is have the shiny side facing us. Okay. And I'm going to keep it nice and simple, and I'm going to go for this lovely lady in this corner, or on this side. I can't think of what the names Barb gave them. Was it ABC or... I can't think now. I'm sure somebody would remember what we called them in the craft along on Thursday evening. Right, so now where do I want to have my design? So I want to sort of come over and keep it nice and compact in this corner, because what we're going to do, if we have a look at what Carol's done, she's created a smaller panel with a panel that goes round all three of them. Okay, so I reckon, do you want to go more in the pink or into a lighter area? So if you're not sure at this point, what you could do is take a piece of clear parchment, pop that underneath and it will help with the colorways. If you put white paper underneath, then it'll be difficult for you to see the lines. So by putting a piece of parchment underneath helps illuminate the color on your parchment. Okay, if you're looking for where to position. So I reckon I'm gonna go, oh, I don't know. So that's quite a nice area, isn't it? Okay. Oh, I don't know. Come on, make a decision. Right, okay. If you want to do exactly as I'm doing, I'm trying to make it sort of easy if you want to choose the same area that I'm going to work on. So I'm going to take my plate mate, I'm going to turn it so it is the way as if we was working on it. Okay, so if we wanted to trace out the letters, and if I bring that in, I'm going to line up the top of my parchment with the top of the plate, and I'm going to come over so that I think that's quite a nice area there. So what I'm doing is I'm lining this side up with the top of the alphabet, the uppercase alphabet, the second row down. Okay, and if you want to be a bit more frugal with your parchment, then line your parchment up with your A5 square plate. Okay, so that's going to go like so. That's going to go on there. We're going to use our Groovi tabs to hold our parchment in place. That's lined up nice and straight across the top. Okay, we're going to take our tumble dry sheet and give it a little wipe so that the tool glides more easily. And then I reckon, let's have a look, let's get, where do we want this to come? So I reckon about there. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're going to go 11 across the top. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's pop that one in first. So we're using the number 1 tool to trace out the lines. Okay, and then we should enjoy the process. So by doing it this way, I know that I won't get carried away. Another option, if you're not sure, is just take a piece of paper, if you don't want to go any further, and just block off the area that you don't want to trace out. Okay? Is everybody doing okay this morning? Are we all celebrating Ken's birthday? Are we? So we're going to just trace out nice and easy. You can't get any easier really than sort of tracing out a square, can you? And then we're going to work our way down. So we're going to keep the height exactly as it is. If I wanted to extend that, then we can, because all we would do is move our parchment along and lock it back into place with the other squares that we've traced out. Okay. Missed that bit. It's funny, I can see it on the overhead. Excuse me. I can see it on the overhead that I can better in front of me. Where I missed that one. I definitely missed that whole square there. Okay. So nice and easy, like so. And that's another great use for the Groovi guard. So if I trace this out, so if I slide that over to there, that's where we've stopped. So I can pop that in place. I know then that we've created our framework. Well, we've done 3 sides, haven't we? Do we have any newbies in the room today? Anyone tuning in for the first time? Okay, so we've got that there. And then what we're going to do, we're now going to complete this side. So the easiest way of doing that is slide your parchment along, line your boxes back up again. You'll feel it slot back into place, like so. And then we can complete the other side. So what have we got going on this week? Ha ha ha. Well, the lovely Jane Telford will be on your TV screens on Thursday with the Pergamano show. So Jane is on at 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Then after that show, so Josie's driving down to Peterborough to meet up with Jane on Thursday. And then they're going to travel down together after the TV shows, ready for our highlight of the year, our open days. It's going to be a silly question. Hands up in the room. Who's coming to the open days? Go on. I bet out of all the people in the room, I'd probably say about 70 to 80% of people, all their hands will raise up at this point. So we've now created a lovely framework. So do we want to go for this one? Do we want to go for that one? I mean, she would work lovely in there. So would she. So you can create, just like Barb did with the card pieces, where, let me just bring one of those in, where we just took one character. We've got the lovely embedding on the inside. So you could replicate the card artwork in the Groovi artwork as well. So let's move back over to our lovely lady over here. Does anyone remember what her name was? I know we said it was ABC, but for some reason I'm thinking Mabel. But I don't know where Mabel comes out of ABC. Maybe she looks like a Mabel. So all we're going to do now, I'm going to keep it nice and simple. I'm just going to line that back up like so. So it slots back into place. I've got my registration of lining it up with the top of the Groovi plate and at the top of the alphabet down the side. Okay. And then we can trace out our lovely lady. So careful you don't draw the other arm from her friend next door. That would look a bit odd, wouldn't it? It's more like a snake. when you hide that, it's like a snake coming in. Right, okay. So give her a little earrings. Add in her neck. It's got a little necklace on as well, which we could, if we want to, we could enhance that with our gel pens on the front. Just saying. And now we're going to follow those swirls nice and slowly. Okay, follow it through all the way around. Take your time and just get lost in the rhythm of the design. There we go. I'm going to put her arms in first, and then her little hands. Put her other arm in, and then just follow the rest of her outfit. I'm not getting the opportunity to read much today of what everybody's saying, but I'm sure you're all behaving, aren't you? Okay. So follow it through. Now what you could do, if you're fairly new to Groovi, is that you could trace out with your number 2 tool first to gently break the fibres, like so. And there you go. And then you could go back in with your number 1 to crisp up your line art. And that's what we used to do back in the day when we were first learning, was we'd go in with the number 2 to break the fibres of the parchment, and then we'd go back in with the number 1. And I think what you could also do as a Groovi is, I don't know, see, I like this pattern. I'm sure you could take this pattern and use it as an infill, couldn't you, in a border? Butter wouldn't melt. Really, Glynis Whitehead. Looking forward to seeing all our lovely ladies and lovely demonstrators on Thursday for the setup. There'll be Glynis and her husband Pete. Then who else? We've got Linda Williams and Rob. They'll be arriving on Thursday. So who have we got in the lineup of demonstrators, just in case you're not aware? So on the Groovi front, we've got Linda, Jane and Josie. On the Inky Stampy Stencily side, we have, we've got Sam and Eileen Godwin. Dee is going to be getting creative with our Felt by Clarity range. We've got the lovely Tina Morris doing a Stampy make and take. So if you're coming to do a if you're coming to the open days, make sure you sign up for a make and take. So Tina's doing a Stampy one with some stencil work, and Hazel Edwards is doing a lovely Groovi make and take as well. So make that your first port of call when you come into the hall, handed in your ticket, got your raffle ticket back, then head over and sign up for that, because they'll be fun-filled times. They really will, and it gives you a chance to rest your feet as well. So, and the projects that the ladies have created are gorgeous. Well, wouldn't expect any less, would you? Okay, so that I'll be doing a bit of die cutting. Barb's going to be there for pottery. Barb's mum's going to be there with her dangly dongly chains, and for your glasses, maybe I should get some. Then there'll be refreshments, free parking. Yeah, lots and lots going on. Okay, so we've traced out. It doesn't take long, does it? If you're batch card making, you could just, whether you're doing it on clear parchment, I mean, you could cut your parchment down to, I mean, this is an A6 piece, so potentially you could get 2 pieces if you're just doing your single characters. Then you could do that, couldn't you? Out of an A5 piece, you'd get 4 panels quite quickly. And if you're not into your colouring at this point, then this is where the designer parchment or the coloured parchment really comes into its own right. It really, really does. Okay. Right. So let's have it. Says Turner. I was going to say, that's it. It's done, basically. If I turn her over, I mean, how quick and easy is that? And she's so beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So if I move the plates out of the way now, okay, let's take those Groovi tabs off so we don't keep getting caught up. So if I pop that onto a white piece of card, you can really see the delicate colours from the Toscana parchment, can't you? And what we want to do now is add a little bit of colour, just like Carol has done. And Carol's used one of our designer papers in the background. So which one has Carol used? Carol's used Northern Lights, one of the originals, to go behind it. But I thought we could have a look at the companion papers. So there's definitely going to be, I mean, I've just chosen Rainbow River, for example, but there will definitely be a colour option in here that will sit beautifully with our artwork. Okay, and I know many of you have already got our lovely companion papers at home. So what we're going to do next is we're going to add some colour. Okay, and what we'll do, we'll add some colour to her dress and her hat, and we'll add some colour to the little square frames. Okay, what do you reckon? So, as I said before, last week or over the past few weeks in Groovi Tuesday, we've been looking at different colouring mediums. We looked at the Percoliner pencils, the Percolour pens, and also the Dorso crayons. So I think to keep this nice and easy, what we'll do is we'll have a look at the Percoliner pencils. Okay. So if you want to, see, this is where, look, just another piece of coloured clear parchment underneath. You can see the difference. I put white card in there. In the darker area, especially in the lighter areas, I can't see where my designs are. But if I go on black, it doesn't really give me that true imagery either. But take a piece of clear parchment and it makes a difference. Okay. So, show. I've got choices. I can choose my colour to add and go directly over the parchment, or I could remove the colour from the parchment. And in order to do that, I could use our Faber-Castell eraser pencil to remove the colour. So if I wanted this to be sort of red, for example, if I put red onto this area and turn it over, you're not going to see red. You're going to get like a muddy red. But I think what we'll do, we'll just keep it nice and easy. And I'm just going to go for a yellow Percoliner pencil. We're going to go for the B pencils, which are the blendable pencils. And where am I going to start? See, instinctively, I'd want to go into that corner, but I'm not. I'm going to go into the next one along. So I'm just going to pop my colour down, just gently tickling the parchment with colour. You know, I like to tickle the parchment. Okay. And I'm going to do every other one. Now, I reckon, what does this look like? See, I've sort of lost it on there, haven't I? So I'm going to go back on what I was saying. And I am going to remove the colour. So I can go back in where I put the pencil in and remove the colour. So I'm removing the pencil and the colour of the parchment, just like so. Okay. So to do this, we're going to use our eraser pencil, every other one, like so. You need a brush to brush off your debris. I think this is a beautiful little piece of artwork. And because you've got the 3 different characters, they could all be themed differently, couldn't they? So then we're going to go around the corner. Watch this, where I get carried away now and do all the... You need to remember to do every other one. But you know what? It doesn't matter if I do all of them. I could do like traffic lights. And this lovely frame reminds me of one of the designs in the Bowob papers, where you've got these little scales. So in a way, you could create your Bowob effect, couldn't you, using this pattern on a piece of parchment. So we're going to remove the colour just like so. There we go. Definitely an eraser pencil, a brush, sorry, to remove the debris. I'm going to go around. So I did that one. So now we're coming in on here. Has anybody done this already, or are you doing it now? Are you gonna... Oh no. I told you, didn't I? I got carried away. Oh well. Right. So what I'm gonna do, let's see. I'm gonna balance this one out now. I did 3 together. I wasn't concentrating. So what we're going to do now is do these 3 together. This is how it's meant to be. Wasn't it? That was the plan all along, to have 3 in a row, just like so. Sharpen my pencil a little bit on the eraser. So nobody shouted out and said, oops, you're getting carried away. See, I think that's the great thing about Groovi. You can get so carried away with the process. It's just so, well, for me it is anyway. It's so enjoyable and relaxing. Just chill out for an hour. I was too quick, I know. So did we have a show of hands for who's coming to our open days? Who's coming for the first time? Have we got anybody coming for the first time to our open days in Ditton? Okay, right, so what I also need to do, so that my top agrees to the bottom, I'm going to remove the colour from the same three. Okay, so that it doesn't look odd. Now, I wonder, will it work on that side? So 3 there, miss 1, 3 there, miss 1. I could do it on that side as well. I could do it on the sides. Let's have a look. Let's colour this in first. We'll colour this in first and then see whether we want to adapt it. Okay. All right, where's my yellow pencil gone? So we're going to go in now with our yellow. There we go. It definitely looks yellow now, doesn't it? Oh, I've got to go back and do that one. Hang on. Missed one. Go in on that one. And that one. Oh, really need to concentrate on this. Talking and colouring doesn't often go together, does it? Okay. There we go. It'd be great to sort of catch up. It'd be nice to put faces to names. I'm rubbish with names. Absolutely rubbish with names. So faces I recognise. Definitely recognise faces. But names, some sort of a different name comes into my head. So if I look at you weirdly, don't be offended. Could be that I thought you were somebody else. Yeah. So this is our first major event of really 2024. Then we have our summer retreats at the same venue at Ditton. So these are a 2-day session. And this is where Barb heads up the retreat over the 2 days. And there's always a great mix of different techniques, different projects. It's, in a way, it's sort of, maybe you can do some of the techniques, but I know from experience myself, I always pick up something new. I always learn something new. So yeah. Okay, so I've now got my yellow all the way around. So if I turn that over, so if I now pop that onto white, there we go, we can definitely see that the yellow has been applied. Okay. And then what we want to do is add some colour to her dress. So this is what Carol has done. So Carol's taken some green and then sort of blended it in, so you've got a little bit of movement in there. So if I go with the yellow, I'm going to scribble as well, like so, staying within the lovely design. Okay, slowly moving down. There we go. And the same process, I'm just tickling the part. I haven't removed the colour on this part because it's quite light, and therefore the parchment will do some of the work for us when it comes to the shading. Okay, so the key is just to stay within those loops of her outfit, like so. And then I'm just going to go in and then keep within the lines. So this is where, if you're using your designer parchment or your coloured parchment, then this is where you do need to stay inside your lines, because if you go over the lines and you remove the pencil, then you're also going to remove the colour of the parchment itself. Okay, so let's put some colour into her hat. Jill, did I say, oh, you're not going to make the open days this year? Oh, that's a shame. But as you said, we'll see you in August. What days are you coming in August? Are you coming on the Tuesday, Wednesday, or the Thursday, Friday? I know the Tuesday, Wednesday is full up now. Okay, so we've got her dress and a hat to tie in with her frame. I reckon if we go for a darker green, I think, maybe for her gloves. So I've gone for this one is B15, just over the top there, just to put some colour into her outfit. Okay, so I think we're good on that for our colouring option, don't you? Jill's coming on Thursday and Friday with her daughter. Oh, it'd be lovely to see you again. It will. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take our spot-on sponge, some Dorso oil, like so, and then very simply I'm going to take our blending pens with a clean blending nib, pick up some colour, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, I know there's a lot, I've got a lot of Dorso oil just on the nib. I don't know if you can see, yeah, can you see how much? Look, just by, I mean, that will evaporate, but I know if I have too much on the nib, it will just lift the colour out. So let's start on our dress first. We're going to work in a circular motion, like we've been doing with the Jane's Floral sampler the past few weeks with the colour. But can you see the difference? As I use the Dorso oil to blend out the pigments, then what it's doing, it's turning the pencil into sort of like an ink or a paint. And it also helps to intensify the colour as well. Okay, so there we go. Swirl it around. Again, same technique as I use with the pencil. I'm tickling the parchment with the blending nib, like so. There we go. It really doesn't take long, does it, to create a piece of artwork? But depending on the coloured parchment you use, your designer or your solid colour, then you don't necessarily have to add any additional colour if you don't want to. Okay, so that's her hat, blended in nicely. So if we turn her over, and let's just take the white underneath. Look at that. She's gorgeous. Hello, gorgeous. Okay, and because of the colour in the parchment, it's automatically created. I don't know if you can see that. It's got some depth to it automatically. And if I'd gone into the darker areas, maybe I could have chosen this area here and done the bottom part of her dress there. I would have got more of a depth of shade. So what we're going to do now is just blend the little squares so that it all ties in. And you notice that I haven't reloaded the nib with any more oil at this point, okay, because it's just a tiny little area, so it doesn't need much smoothing out. There we go. So yes, so this week, Thursday is the lovely Jane on the Pokemano show. There's no Shack Thursday evening because we will be at the venue setting everything up. And then for those of you that are coming to Ditton, we will see you either on Thursday and Friday. We have, obviously, you've got Barb's blog to keep an eye on. You've got the Clarity Matters blog on Saturday and Sunday from Gracie and the design team. And then Monday, I think Monday is back in the shack with Barb. And I think we're up to letter I believe now. Barb hasn't revealed yet what she's going to do for the letter I. I think she was still waiting for some suggestions to come in. Okay, so we have a lovely piece of artwork, and if I pop it onto white, you could definitely see the colour. But let's have a look at some of the companion papers. So for example, if I pop that on there, a little bit dark, a little bit zesty. That's changing it, isn't it? Too dark. Brings out the pinky more. Purple, no. Dark green, no. Red, I like that. The yellow, that beautiful bright yellow is great for that. So let's have a look. I think I'm going to go for this one. So if I take a sheet of that, now I'm going to keep that and pop that to one side. So let's pop my folder. So when we have a look at what Carol's done, can you see she put these little crosses in the boxes? So this is optional. It's entirely up to you. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do, just to show you, let's take this scrap of parchment that I have here. I'm going to take the plate and I'll just trace out some of these little squares because this will be the practice piece. Okay, so wipe with tumble dry sheet and trace out some squares. So let's have a look. I'm going to go 4 there, move it up. I'm going to do another 4 here, and then one more. So I've got 4 little rows of boxes. So I was talking earlier about if you want to do these little boxes and you want to put the crosses in, that there's several different options. So the options you have are, you have your 4 needle bold. I'll bring these into the other camera in a moment. You've got your 4 needle fine and then your 1 needle bold. Okay, so if I bring these in on this camera, I don't know if you can see that. Or actually, if I come onto the overhead, try not to get out of focus. So the one with the dots that fills the oval better is your bold. And then the one with the smaller dots is obviously your fine. But if you only have one, how do you know? So the easiest way of knowing is that if it virtually fills the space at the end of the tool, then you have a bold. But if there's lots of space around, then you have a fine. And then for the bold one, just as a comparison between the two, it is literally either a little dot or a bigger dot. Okay. So in order to do the perforating, we need our super foam. So I've got my black super foam underneath. So depending how comfortable you feel, so if I take this one here, so this is the 4-needle bold. Okay, what I'm going to do, let's just get this, my practice, don't forget. So I'm going to take my tool, I'm sort of tilting it backwards, just so I can sort of see where it is. And then I reckon, so I'm holding it in place before perforating. And then sort of looking around. Once you do this a couple of times, it'll be easier. So there, 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 and there. So that's using your 4-needle. I will come in closely on this one in a moment, because I know by moving my hand it can cause the focus to go out. So then we're going to take our 4-needle fine and repeat that process. So I'm perforating from the front, like so. That was a bit close to that line. Let's come over that way. There we go. Practice, practice, practice. And then the other option is if you go for your basic bold straight tool, then you can line up the dots to fit in and use your 1-needle bold to perforate. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Do tape it down whilst you're doing this, because I can feel a little bit of movement, but this is just for speed, just to show you. Okay, so, and just check that all the dots are inside the square before you perforate. Okay, so if I take, let's start, I can just take the mat on. So if I bring this up now, hang on, I need to take my glasses off. Maybe not. Okay. So this is using the 4-needle bold. This is using the 4-needle fine. So I need to practice more on that. It's easier to do the bold than it is with the fine, because the needles fill the square better. And then this is using the basic grid with the 1-needle bold. Okay, so you have choices, don't you? So for speed, what I'm going to do, famous last words, do I want to perforate all of them? Do I want to do every other one? Do I want to do the one that doesn't have any colour in? Choices. Choices. I'm going to go for the ones where I haven't applied any colour. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to work my way down. I don't know whether the varifocals are a good thing or a bad thing on this. Definitely need more practice. Coming over way too close to that edge. But don't forget, I mean, you could just leave the perforations, but what we're going to do is, well, what I'm going to do is snip. I'm going to snip these into little crosses. And this is how I learnt how to perfect my picot cutting. Now, if you want to give picot cutting a go and you're coming to the open days, then the lovely Glynis will be manning the snip clinic. Manning the snip clinic, that sounds even worse, doesn't it? Glynis will be, no, I've got to choose my words carefully. Manning, operating, heading up. Glynis will be sitting at a table with the 3 different types of Pergamano scissors and snips, and she's there to assist you with your picot cutting. That sounds good, doesn't it? Goodness me, could have been taken off air at that point. Okay. It's just words. So every other one that or all the ones that I haven't applied colour to, like so. Oh, that one really went off key, but we won't worry about that. Now I'm going to take my, for me personally, I go for the ring lock because they have bigger apertures for my fingers. Wow, look at that one. That one's really off. And what I'm going to do now, I'm cutting over the waist. Wow, that one's really bad. And I'm going all in the same direction first. You won't be doing this with Glynis. Glynis will making you do a straight line. You won't have to use the 4-needle bold inside a square to practice your picot cutting. So I'm keeping my parchment in place and I'm just working my way around, and I'm doing all of the ones, and you'll notice that I'm always over the waist, the bit that's going to fall out. Supervising, of course, that's a very good word. Thank you, Mary. She will be supervising and assisting you with your picot cutting. So now I'm going to turn my work and we're going to go this way. Can't believe where the time has gone this morning. It's been a very productive morning though. Really enjoyed. Again, I have to be careful what I say. Pudding for breakfast. What about you? Glynis will teach crosses and slots if people ask. There you go. I know there's often a constant stream of people at Glynis's snip clinic. And you get the chance to try before you buy as well. If you think, oh, I want to give this snipping a go, then you get the opportunity to try the various different, whether you go for the exclusives. I've done that one, haven't I? Have I done that one? No. The exclusives, the ring locks, or the poker cutters. So that's good, isn't it? So there we go. And it's often a good idea to warm up first, or get your perforations in the right place. That would help, wouldn't it? But this is a practice piece. It's my showcase. It's my learning piece. Because once I know, I definitely require more practice putting the 4-needle tool directly into a square. I think if I was going to do this as my piece of artwork, then I would use the basic grid and a number 1 bold. It may take a little longer, but it's just personal choice, isn't it? So we're going to snip all the way around, and then when I lift this up, hopefully all those little crosses, that definitely requires a butterfly of some sort in this corner. So, and as we get to the end, we lift up and we have our crosses. Some are in the boxes, some are not in the boxes. I'll turn it that way. Yeah, I think the wind was blowing in on that way when I did the perforating. Now, when we look at the piece of artwork from Carol, Carol has perforated and Pico cut around the outside. But another option, okay, here's my latest best friend, is my beautiful Japanese craft knife. Okay, and I know many of you have recently purchased these, and I have my Pergamano ruler with my Groovi grip. Now I'm going to bring the blue cutting mat in. I don't want to cut into this mat I have underneath. And I'm going to line up the outer line with the pink line on the ruler. Take my lovely knife. I'm going to line up the top ones across the top as well, so I know that it's at the correct angle, up against the steel edge, and just bring the knife towards me. And we're going to turn around, line it up again, like so. Beautiful. Often when I've used craft knives in the past, you get like a burring, a sort of, you don't get necessarily a smooth edge when you cut, because it's to do with the thickness of the blade. But I find with this blade, you don't get that. And then we're going to work all the way around to complete our rectangle, and hopefully I've come out far enough. But if not, it doesn't matter, I can go back. Okay, so that's there. Oh look, I missed a little bit. Okay, just do that. Then we have our piece of artwork perfectly trimmed out. Now, do we want to put it on this color still, or do we want to change the color so we can, I forgot, back in stock. We need to attach it. Back in stock. Finally. We've got antique silver, we've got gold, we've got silver, we've got black, we've got pastel, we've got pewter, and white, and the storage boxes. So they are all back in stock. So I reckon what we'll do, we will continue pudding next week, because I want to show you a couple of finishing tricks, and I don't want to rush it, because there's some good tips when you're using the brads, and then I want to use the corner punches as well. So rather than rush, because I mean this hour has absolutely flown by, next week why don't we start off with sort of continuing on with our pudding. I mean, pudding that lasts a week, you can't go wrong there, can you? And we'll have a look at some finishing tricks on this piece, and then we'll carry on looking at our lovely floral sampler as well from Jane, because I think we could do some finishing tricks on that. So thank you as always for your lovely company. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you picked up a few tips and tricks. If you're traveling to our open days, then travel safely, and we look forward to seeing you. If it's a last minute thing, then you can just turn up on the day. Tickets will be available on the day. The lovely Sue will be there to meet and greet you with Sheila. Yeah, so enjoy the rest of your week, and hopefully see many of you on Friday and, it's Friday and Saturday, not Thursday. Don't come Thursday. Friday and Saturday. Yes. Until then, I will be back with you. Barb's back in the shack with you on Monday. I'll be with you on Tuesday, and then we'll see what this week has in store for us next week. So take care, everyone. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.